We are coming to you live from the Beaver Dam Softball Diamond. This is the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Daily Dodge TV, and the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your states, your team, your state, your teams, your ESPN. Corey Sparks, Wally Lukashinsky here with you. Aiden Voigt is our on-site video engineer, not only for today's show, but for the Beaver Dam softball matchup against an Oregon Panthers team that comes in undefeated. More to come on that. Jack Wilsky's back at the station as our audio engineer. Got a full crew on hand today.
We do. Very excited to have the dream team together, and I tell you what a difference a month makes. Remember sitting in these exact same seats together about a month ago against DeForest, and it was like 35 degrees. We had 30 miles an hour wind. Corey, it is genuinely gorgeous out here. There's barely any wind. The sun's out. I had the sleeves rolled up trying to get a little early sun into the season. Got to be ready to go.
Yeah, I have nothing to complain about. It's like mid-70s. The sun is out. We've got a nice little wind, which is honestly good at this point if it's going to be a little bit cooler. But the 35 degrees, 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, not a big fan of that. But we're back from our mini hiatus. We were at the Brewers game yesterday. Milwaukee baseball taking on the Astros. It was a 5-1 victory for the Crew. They're back to 500. The Astros are down to 500. Game 2 is going to get underway at 6:05 p.m. on 95.3 WBEV tonight. Had a good experience there. Back on Saturday, we were named the best small market news and talk radio show at the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Awards Gala, which still digesting that. That was very cool.
That was unbelievable. Humbling, to say the least. That was not something 9 months ago I thought was even possible. I didn't even know we were going to do this when I took this opportunity to be here in July. And then all of a sudden, here we are, talking less than a year later, winning an award like that, winning Station of the Award, or Station of the Year award with WBEV. And that,
collectively, yep.
That was special. We have a very, very good group of people that we're working with, and it's part of the reason why this is so much fun to be out here is we have you and me being able to work together, have the chemistry we've built, then have Jack and Aiden with all the work they do behind the scenes.
Yes.
To feel that like acceptance, to get that very touching kind of nod of approval of what we've been doing means a lot.
And Justin Wilsky, too, for everything video that you consume on
Amen.
Daily Dodge TV, not only with our show, but beyond that, all the graphic animations, those come with templates that he had to make. There's so much behind-the-scenes work that goes beyond what you hear or watch me and Wally doing. Exactly. A complete team effort among a lot of individuals, the support of Wade Bates to help even get that show off the ground from July to September. Kale Zomer, our content manager, Sherry Sackett, our general manager. So many different moving parts that were rightfully so honored on that night as well. We've got a guest to welcome onto the show. That is Monis Khan. He's the editor-in-chief for Bucks Plus, and he is working with our very hardworking team in Milwaukee, who was also recognized at the WBA Awards.
You aren't right. Or
Monis,
you ain't kidding.
Monis, how are you doing today?
Oh,
that,
Monis, you're the man. And tell you what, we had to raise a banner. If we were getting a banner raised for, the NBA Cup, we have to make sure we get one raised for the Damn Sports Show, too. And I know it was a little bit of a disappointing end to the season, Monis. We were watching the baseball game while that was going on, and it's been a week. How have you digested it? A little bit of a disappointing end to the year, but how are we doing right now?
You know, it definitely was a disappointment, especially in the manner in which the game flamed out. 40 seconds.
And in overtime, too?
In overtime, back against the wall, best player in the world, playing at his best. And you just hate to see a team, call it a season in that manner, just for the effort that they put out there on the floor. This Herculean effort from Giannis, from Gary Trent Jr. It was definitely something that you wanted to see the series extend. Any basketball fan would want to see more of this. Two great teams, a great budding rivalry, go into a Game 6 at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. And the fans are left picking up the pieces, looking at the tea leaves, trying to figure out what the future holds for their Milwaukee Bucks.
On Monis, can you just paint the picture for me? Because I know this is going to be one of those we all knew where we are or where we were and what we were doing when it happened. Tyrese Halliburton puts the game-winning layup down with a couple of seconds to go, and then his father gets on the court and starts trash-talking Giannis. I know they've hashed it out now, but when you saw that unfolding, what words were coming out of your mouth if you're allowed to repeat them on radio?
I just couldn't believe that there was fracas after fracas, just in the post game alone.
Yeah.
You wanna kind of, I don't know, get out clean. You didn't win the game, it got ugly, but for it to extend, you sort of wondered whether there was kind of like a spiral going on. Like whether players were spiraling, whether the moment was becoming too big, and the composure kind of was on the line. And you were very happy to see Giannis, kind of do his best, maintain his composure in the face of provocation.
He was great.
But you hate to see the post-game become the story of a great game.
I couldn't agree more, and it just is also another one of those unfortunate realities of the sports world, is that who knows what does happen coming forward, that you don't want that to be that final moment, and I'm glad that he at least handled himself appropriately there. My question for you is, in the reality, we know that the Bucks' priority this offseason is making sure Giannis is happy, making sure Giannis is on the team. Beyond making sure Giannis is a Milwaukee Buck next year, what is at the top of the docket on the agenda? What is the priority that the Bucks have to hit this offseason?
Well, it all starts with retaining their free agents and figuring out what to do with the players who are restricted free agents, like a Ryan Rollins, who are players are going to opt in or out of their player options. Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton both have player options, and then you have Brook Lopez, who is about to be an unrestricted free agent, and the team needs to figure out, it only has so many. If Bobby opts into his player option, that's not a decision the team has to make. But these are all players that they're going to have to figure out who fits into the future of our team. Obviously, Brook Lopez has dedicated himself to the franchise, has been an all-time great player for the Milwaukee Bucks, won a championship. Bobby Portis as well. But, John Horst is going to have to take a good look at the team and how to best build around Giannis moving forward. And he got a great sample size. Giannis played in 65-plus games last year, another first-team All-NBA season out of him. So he'll have a good idea of the types of players he's going to want to surround Giannis with. And it all starts with the players who are on the team today.
So I like that you brought up youth, Monis, a lot actually, because this Bucks team has been one of the oldest in the association for the last couple of seasons. But there have been some young guns rising up, getting more minutes, taking on larger responsibilities. Who is one player, looking back at this season, that had a much better year than maybe you would have initially expected going into Game 1 of 82?
I think you expected a ton out of Gary Trent Jr., age 25, great player, 18-point game scorer for the Toronto Raptors. You knew he was going to come in and take his game to the next level, like Malik Beasley did the year before, like many players have done, playing off of Giannis, given more space, increasing their efficiency from three, increasing their points per game to career highs. You knew that Gary Trent Jr. was going to take a step forward. You figured that A.J. Green, who started getting rotation minutes in the playoffs a little bit last year, taking a big step, you figured that he was going to continue to move forward, continue to be a difference maker, continue to be a player the team would rely on. You knew he was an excellent three-point shooter, and you figured he would be able to maintain that consistency day in and day out for the team. The one player, I don't know if anybody was thinking about him or talking about him, being in the conversation, being someone the team had to rely on, it was two-way player Ryan Rollins, who barely sniffed the lineup at the beginning until Dame goes down for an injury. He gets put into the rotation, has an amazing game against the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Cup, kind of tournament, and then it blows out his shoulder. He kind of works his way back into the rotation and is a big piece of why the team goes 8-0 to end the season. Starts the season as a starter In the playoffs, he's a starter because Dame is down for an injury. And so that's just a guy that, the team is really high on, that he's a restricted free agent going into next season. So the team has control over whether they are going to want to retain him or not. And just a young player at 22 years old who has a lot, almost limitless potential, 6'9" wingspan, could be a 40% three-point shooter, point-of-attack defender, picking the other best ball handler up 94 feet. Very few players on the Bucks with that combination of skill sets.
One of my favorite things about you, Monis, you are an eternal optimist, and I absolutely love that. We need that right now, especially after the way this season does end. This is another year now. We've seen the Bucks without a first-round playoff win, and we can talk about the 8 straight wins at the end of the regular season, the NBA Cup, which we casually have a banner in the studio. It's a massive deal, obviously. What I want to know, though, is how do we sleep at night knowing what's going to change? Like, what is going to be different going into the playoffs next year that this team might be able to get over the hump? Because I'm struggling. I really was hurting last week. I thought that this team was going to get out of the first. The Dame injury, it broke our hearts, man. What's going to change? Why should we be optimistic like you are?
I think that the Bucks found something with Giannis as the point center, the point forward. Really, he's just a point Giannis. He's a one-of-a-kind player, and when that ball is in his hands, literally, he can do things no other player in the NBA can do. And when they just said, hey, big fella, you're going to be the guy, you're going to make the decision every play, 48 minutes of this game. I mean, he averaged 9.5 assists in the month of April. He showed what he's capable of. And next season, without Dame, for maybe until people are saying, oh, he might come back in April or, a few weeks before the play, whatever it is, they're going to have to rely on Giannis as that type of player. And if they can put a team – now, look at what John Horst was able to do with the veteran minimum last season. Mm-hmm. They have more flexibility this season, more tools at their disposal, the biannual exemption, the trade exemption, so many different mid-level, so many different tools to bring in and work with this offseason. They know how to build around him. They know the type of players he needs, how the NBA is changing. Jericho Sims, as a guy who really showed a lot late in the season, it just feels like a little bit of tinkering, and the team might unlock the best version of itself.
Monis, for those who want to read into the cryptics that Giannis has been dropping on social media, it seems like a lot of signs are pointing to him coming back to Milwaukee. I know there's a lot of drama surrounding whether or not he's going to ask for a trade after the end of this season and the future of Damian Lillard going into next year. So I'm not going to completely toss the hypothetical at you, but I saw a rant from Gabe Neitzel over with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and I'm seeing others toss it around. Giannis is an all-time great, one of the best to ever do it. If you had to quantify what his trade value actually is, what would that even be? Because you see like the Call Bridges go for 5 first-rounders and a couple players. What would Giannis even be at for that scale?
Yeah, and Rudy Gobert, obviously a huge haul from the Utah Jazz to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think you got to start with those types of. These are the key reference points. Okay, he's under contract for another 2 seasons with a player option for a third. So that's a lot of years under contract. A lot of these superstars, when they're getting traded, it's when they're on an expiring contract, and the team wants to get something for them rather than just having them walk, for nothing. And so it's kind of like a happy medium. But Giannis is under contract. He's under cost control. The rival GMs who are kind of going for him. He's also in the thick of his prime, and it's hard to imagine a better player being traded at this stage of his career with this many years of contract left.
Almost unprecedented.
Obviously, it's easy to look at the Luka trade.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to look at the Luka trade, but Luka also they're wondering, about his max extension and could he walk in a year and a half, or after next season. And so it's almost like he even has less contract to work with and more uncertainty. And Giannis, whatever concerns there were about Luka, there have never been those concerns about Giannis. And if you look at how many games this man has played every single season of his NBA career, what he can do on both sides of the court, I mean, it really is an unprecedented. It would have to take an unprecedented package because this has never been like on the market. And I don't know. It does not. Nothing has suggested to me that, despite the whirring of all the trade machines around the world, nothing suggests to me that a trade is going to happen because Giannis is committed to this franchise. He's under contract. He knows what the city, the people, the franchise mean to him. The guy who has signed him to 2 extensions already is still the general manager and has an extension himself. Doc is coming back. Giannis has talked about how he loves Doc, and there's stability at the head coach position and at the general manager position. So I just don't see a reason why Giannis would seek greener pastures for himself.
Sure.
Monis, I got to end with a softball since we gave you a couple heavy hitters there to end out our coverage with you this year. This is, first of all, thank you so much for everything you've done for us since we started getting you on. What that'd be right around the new year when we got you on for the first time.
Just about, yeah.
Thrilled to have you on. So excited to get you back on for next year. What's an off season for Monis Khan look like? What are do you unplug from basketball? Are you still ever locked in? What are you doing this next few months?
The season at Bucks Plus, it doesn't sleep. Bucks, even our Bucks in 6 recaps, where we cover every single Bucks game in 6 minutes, so fans never miss a moment. Even those are going to come back with special editions this summer. We're working on a brand new Behind the Bucks series that's going to be extraordinary look at one of not only the great moments in Bucks history, the great moments in the NBA and professional basketball internationally. We're taking a look at a moment that inspired what we see as the NBA today, this global game. We take a moment of where it all started, and it started here in Milwaukee with the Milwaukee Bucks. So we're gonna look into that, and that's very exciting. And also, we are going to be continuing with Here District with the biggest names in basketball. Eric Name is on our show today, breaking down all the ins and outs of not only the season, but the off-season and what to look forward to. And we're going to continue to bring eyes to the Bucks and talk about all their moves this off-season and talk about how they can continue to be a contender just as they've been for the last 7 years.
Hey, well, it's not goodbye. It's see you later, alligator.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
We're looking forward to hopefully talking plenty. Every time we get the big news this summer with the Milwaukee Bucks attributed to it, you better believe, Monis, we're blowing your phone up. So cannot wait to talk to you, my friend.
Always a pleasure and great to be able to celebrate your big win with you today. Can't wait to catch up with your listeners sometime this offseason and definitely going into next season. Thank you again, both of you.
Yeah, thank you, Monis.
You're
are the man.
Amen. You are the man, Monis. We'll talk to you very, very soon.
All right, that was Monis Khan. Again, the editor-in-chief for Bucks Plus Audio with our very hardworking team over there at Milwaukee. You got ESPN Milwaukee, The Truth. You have, of course, everything going on with Bucks Plus, WTMJ for your news needs, the flagship for Bucks and Brewers radio as well. When we return, we're going to pivot a little bit and just do a Beaver Dam High School sports wraparound. It has been since last Friday. Lots of games have passed. Records have changed. And we're just about getting past the halfway point of the season for Beaver Dam baseball, Beaver Dam girls soccer, and, of course, Beaver Dam softball, which will be getting going in about 40 minutes here. We'll step aside for a quick break. You're listening to the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV. Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Daily Dodge TV, and the ESPN Wisconsin app, your state, your teams, your ESPN. And if you are looking for a one-stop shop for all things sports cards, this is going to be a great segue into our next topic, actually. Head on over to Real Sports Cards in Waupun or check out their app. Whether you're into sports cards or Pokemon cards, Real Sports Cards has you covered. With live breaks streaming right on the app, you can grab those individual cards on the go. You can use that feature where you specifically pick a certain team. You want a Brewers break, you can get a Brewers break. You want a Bucks break, Packers break, you can do that. You can be a part of a group for your favorite players and teams as the packs get opened. And you can go to the Apple or Google Play Store today, look for the orange logo, and take your collection to the next level with Real Sports Cards. Again, that's in Waupun or the Real Sports Cards app, your local resource for all things sports cards, Pokemon cards, and more. And I just made the reference that that's a really good segue into what we're going to talk about next. Tom owns Real Sports Cards. It is his birthday today, so I want to wish him
a real birthday.
A very happy birthday. It is actually his birthday. I'm probably not the best person to introduce that, but it is legitimately Tom's birthday. It's not Wally's birthday for the 7th time this month.
No, it is not. It's actually Tom's birthday. We were very excited. We got to hang out with him, hang out with the Kolszewski clan a little bit, going to the Brewers game last night. We went over with the station, got to hang out with some partners, and Tom was there. We got to just chop it up with him, have some good food, some cold drinks, watch the Brewers get a big win. And, you know, I did learn something last night, though, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, I learned a couple things, but I'm going to start with the first one. A horse apiece.
It's a phrase you were not familiar with.
I have never heard that before, and the looks I got in that room with all the partners, with all of our teammates, looking at me like I was the crazy one.
I would have thought you were like an ostrich in our little press box there.
You would have thought, literally, it was like a flightless bird in the middle of like an aviation wing. I don't even know. It was so bad, the looks I got. It makes no sense to me.
Were you the only person in that whole room who didn't know what that was?
I'm sure there was somebody else, but I'm the one that was brave.
Know. One of our marketing consultants here at ESPN Beaver Dam and 95.3 WBV, Tyler, did not know
And
either.
I stand with Tyler because we were brave. We put our names to it. A lot of you folks in there were probably like, no, I have no idea, but I'm not going to be brave enough to say it. I'm going to get scrutinized by the Wisconsinites of the world.
I legitimately knew what it was. I was not one of those frauds.
I still want somebody to explain it to me.
A horse apiece?
Yeah, and it's like either or.
No difference between this or the other. Yes, either or.
But like a horse apiece, like what is? I don't like follow.
Do you need like an example or?
No, I need quite literally like what is a horse apiece?
Oh, like the literal. I have no clue.
That's
Where
my
does
point.
that come from? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's
yes,
like all right.
It means either or, but.
It's just setting me off because obviously there's a reason for it. I'm sure it's going to be something like old-timey where it's like, here, I'll give you a horse for like
That might be it. It's like a trading.
Like a bucket of like corn.
Yeah, in the hunter-gatherer days maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's
barter.
There's something. Yeah, barter, exactly. I also learned something else. You kind of got to see it in the first segment there. I have officially, I feel like, really honed in on being a Wisconsinite in this regard. The Wisconsin goodbye. I can't say goodbye to Monis on the phone. I couldn't say goodbye to Tom last night.
Take care, man. Yeah, we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's so fun
seriously, it's
you.
been amazing.
By the way, did you catch this the other day? Oh, I did. All right, we're gonna catch you later. But before that,
no, but seriously, thank you so much.
Yep.
But again, I just want to reiterate.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
So like, not much negligible difference between the two. That's what a horse apiece means. Negligible difference between the two. That's what a horse apiece means.
I hear what that means. Like I can actually like make the math like or the connection with that to understand. I just don't think I've heard it very often.
No, I don't think I've heard it very often either. Okay, the phrase a horse apiece likely originated from old dice games, particularly a game called Horse, where players would lose a turn and be a horse apiece. Thank you. That
made it more confusing than it was before.
It's like when you look up the definition of something and it mentions the word in the definition.
I'm a little disappointed. I really thought that we were going to get something like a barrel of eggs for like a horse.
This sounds like speculation. Could also be a variant of horse and horse, referring to two horses racing side by side. This phrase was also used in various games, especially when two players were tied after the first two throws in a best 2 out of 3 scenario.
It's
a dice reference.
I don't like that. I didn't like that at all.
What?
Especially be careful bringing up horses. We have Jason Wilde. He might never show up on the show again.
That's true. Well, we're not talking Kentucky Derby, just horses.
That's true.
Yeah.
But like maybe that's a horse racing thing, so I'm not going to – there's dice and horse.
Yep, there might be some lore there that you don't want to dive into.
So I don't want to dive into that. I'm scared because I don't want Jason to not want to talk to me anymore.
Anything else that you've stumbled upon in Wisconsin since
I'm sorry. I've really
since July that has thrown you off? And the ranch thing?
The ranch thing. I talk about that all the time. I feel like
Player comp for Ranch. This will be interesting.
It's overrated is what it's going to be.
Revere?
It's going to be like Ben Revere. No, and I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to upset you, Wisconsinites. All I'm telling you is that Ranch itself is overutilized. You don't need to put it on pizza. You don't have to put it on everything. You can have your wings. I'm not even going to – if you throw it on your crust, you throw it on your pizza, I'm not going to judge you. I just think that it's a little ridiculous.
Is it the Joey
that we have
Gallo
to use it on everything?
Of dipping sauces, Joey Gallo?
I don't even want to –
I don't know if he has a very large support. You know he's a pitcher now?
Well, apparently, yeah, he does it all.
He's throwing bullpens now.
He's Rick Ankiel. Does it all. He's got the yips.
I saw the joke about Joey Gallo. He was missing so many bats, he thought he'd go to the other end of it.
Well, he's obviously got the knack.
Yeah, he's
as
like,
a
all
pitcher.
these pitchers are pretty good.
He's always been. He's like, I'm associated with the strikeout. I might as well try it on the other end of things.
I've got it sweet now.
So don't get it wrong. You're allowed to have ranch. I'm just telling you, overutilized. Overutilized.
I wouldn't call you a ranch hater, but you're getting close. You're getting very close. The weather thing.
I said this the other day, and tell me I'm wrong. If people started going out and being like, we have introduced like ranch as like a new condiment for brats, like this year you got to try it.
I would never do that.
I don't care if you wouldn't. Tell me that wouldn't be something that you would see wide array of people trying it.
There would be a crowd that would give it a shot.
A massive crowd.
I think that crowd, after about 2 weeks, would realize that their curiosity almost killed them.
Or it's the same thing. And hand up. You want to talk about talking out of both sides of your mouth? Right here. I'm from Pittsburgh. Love Heinz ketchup. I'll eat ketchup on anything.
Yep.
Overutilized. I also am a problem. I do it myself.
Are you dipping your pizza in ketchup?
No, exactly.
It's marinara. It's a tomato base anyway.
It's close. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got my marinara bases. Cheese curds. I tried it with your ranch.
That's
I'd rather have it with my marinara.
Yeah.
There's got to be a line. There's a line for everything. Like there's a line on the or the softball diamond over here.
Very good reference.
You like that tie back?
It's going to be a great callback. Times 3.
Times 3.
We're going to start this game in about 30 minutes. Anything else? I'm trying to think of other things in Wisconsin that we need to come up with a top 10 list of Wally's Wisconsin pet peeves.
Oh, how with the weather? Just give it 15 minutes. Although that's everywhere in the world.
That's probably number 1 for you. Although, yeah, that is everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in the world, the weather's unique to you. Just give it 15 minutes. It'll change. You've never seen a spring like it is here.
Nobody has it like us.
No, just, again, 15 minutes. The weather's going to be completely different. It'll be rainy now, or it's going to be 20 degrees colder. Yes. No one's ever heard of seasons.
It's unprecedented.
North America, we've never heard of seasons before. Pat in the back. We're different. Look at us.
I can tell it doesn't make you mad, but you're a little agitated. Like, you're close.
Well, just because you look around, like you like make it sound like you drive 3 hours in any direction. It's not going to be different. It's literally Midwest. Everybody has weather. Mid-Atlantic, everybody has weather.
You think if you take a poll in all 50 states, there's people going, yeah, we do have it the worst?
I would say
Is
there's
there anyone
probably
out there who goes like, oh, if you were in Wisconsin, it'd be a lot worse? I've been in Wisconsin
Probably
before.
Hawaii, probably Arizona. There's
Hawaii's got the volcanoes, though.
Yeah, exactly. Give it 10 minutes. Who knows?
Maybe we'll be in lava.
There's probably 10 states that aren't going to say that.
Is anyone content? Like, it's pretty peaceful here.
Again, I'm going to stand by. I think Hawaii's going to tell you that. I think Texas will probably tell you that. Although they'll start telling you, like, the tornadoes.
Had flurries once.
Yeah, exactly. We had our pipes freeze like 3 years ago. We'll still tell you about it.
Yeah, the flurries were crazy. We were out of school for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's places. And plus, you have certain places like Colorado and Utah that I feel like take pride in their wintry weather.
Yes.
Where it's like something that they're actually like known for. So they're okay with it. But no, I think that 30, 35 states in the country are going to tell you it's just like unbelievable. You've never seen anything like it.
Wisconsin is definitely one of those.
No, they very, very much in that list.
We'll step aside, and when we return, it'll turn into the pregame show for Oregon and Beaver Dam softball. Beaver Dam entering play at 10-7. Oregon's a perfect 16-0. They can actually match their win total from last year today on May 6th. They're having a remarkable season. More on them, more on the matchup, more as we get towards the pregame show. That'll be on the other side of the break. This has been a shortened version of the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.